Good morning, everyone. In the previous class, we have started the development for our first mini project. Half of the logic is completed. The remaining pending part we are going to complete in this session. So in the previous class, I have created one Spring Starter project with the below dependencies. I have added Web Starter to develop a web application. I have added JPA Starter that is used to communicate with the database. We are using H2, that is an embedded database, and we are using TimeLeaf Starter for the presentation, and we use DevTools to restart the server. Whenever there is a code change in the application, server should be restarted. For that, I have added DevTools dependency. Then I configured data source properties in the properties file. That means with which database our application should communicate. That information we configured in the application properties file. In this application, we are using H2 database. So I configured H2 data source properties in the application.properties file. Then after, for testing purpose, I just executed my application. When we run the Spring Boot application, by default, it will run by using embedded server, which is Tomcat. Tomcat will run on the port number 8080. If required, we can change that port number also in the properties file. As we have added H2 dependency and H2 data source properties, we can access H2 console in the browser. To access H2 console in the browser, we are using localhost /8080/H2 console. With this H2 console, we are able to see. So with this, our application started successfully. Then after, we have created entity class and repository interface. Entity class, nothing but the Java class, which is mapped with the database table. That class is called as an entity class. To represent the Java class as an entity, we are using @entity annotation. And to represent the primary key mapped column, I'm using @id. So for the primary key, I don't want to generate the value manually. So that is the reason I'm writing on annotation called @generated value. So this is our entity class. Then we have a repository. Repository is used to communicate with the database table, and our repository interface extending the properties from JPA repository. JPA repository is a predefined interface in the data JPA, which will provide several methods to perform CRUD operations. And it depends on the requirement. We can execute our own queries also. It is like a custom query execution concept. Then after, we created a service interface. In the service interface, we identified what all the methods required to develop this first application. Okay, so this is save or update method. That method is used to insert the record as well as to update the record. And the next one is get all user accounts. That method is used to retrieve all the user data. Get user account. This is used to edit the user record. Delete user account. This is used to permanently delete the record from the database based on the given user ID. Then third one, update user account status. This method is used to activate or deactivate the user based on the user ID and the given status. For these methods, we have completed implementation also. We have implemented all the logic required for those methods. And we have started our controller development. It is partially complete. In the controller class, we have created 3 methods as of now. One method is used to load the index page, and the second method is used to save the user record. Third method is used to retrieve all the users and display in the table. Controller means it is going to return view page. Okay, let me run my application and check this. Run as Spring Boot application. Run as Spring Boot application. So you can check in the console. Our application started with the port number Tomcat, and the database is available with the H2 console. Perfect. Clear the console. Now go to browser and access our application. Localhost /8080. So when we go for this localhost /8080, our application page is loaded. Our application page is loaded. Now you can check the database also. Localhost /8080/H2-console. Now you can connect with the database based on the data source properties we configure, connect. So table is created automatically. Are we writing the logic to create the table, guys? Or the table is created automatically? No, we are not writing any logic to create the table. If you see in our properties file also, nothing is available, nothing available, just a data source properties are configured. So whenever we add H2 dependency based on the entity classes, the database tables will be created in the database. In our project, we have one entity class. For that, the database table also got created. Then in the controller, if you observe, there is a method which is mapped to /URL pattern. What is the meaning of /URL pattern? So it is default URL pattern. Whenever you send the request, by default, that method will be executed. What this method is doing, it is returning index. So it is sending user object to the index page. In the index page, we have used timeleaf and bootstrap to develop presentation logic. Our form is loaded, empty form. And for this form, binding is available. What is the meaning of binding? This form data we can capture in the object format. Okay, let us enter some details. And submit. When I submit, it is saying user record saved. If you go to view users, whatever the record we have inserted, the record is displaying in the table format. Similarly, you can go to add user. You can add another user here. Submit. User record saved. View users. So there are two records available. Those records are inserted and they are displaying in the table. Now, the pending activity is we should be able to edit the record and we should be able to delete the record. We should be able to activate or deactivate the record. These three buttons functionality is pending. So Saturday we completed add user functionality, view users functionality. Yesterday class not happened. So today we are going to work on these three buttons functionality. So guys, did you guys try implementing this functionality? Anyone able to complete? Did anyone try implementing? Some people tried, some people did not try. Okay, fine. Observe how I'm going to implement this functionality in our application now. Edit functionality is available. Let me go to the template file. View users.html. So the table data is displaying, and here I have given the hyperlink for edit. Here I have given hyperlink for delete. Here the hyperlinks are available for activate and deactivate. So first let us start working on edit functionality. So when user click on edit, that record should go in the editable mode. So for this, what we need to do is href/edit/edit. And which user we are trying to edit, that user data we need to send to the controller as a query parameter. So /edit, along with that, I need to send what is the URL pattern. Currently, for a href, I have given hash. Hash means nothing will happen. So when you click on the edit, nothing is going to happen because href is equal to hash. Now, when I click on the edit, it should open a page by populating that user record. So href, how we need to deal with that? I'm going to use th colon href. th colon href is equal to @ of /edit question mark id is equal to. So here we need to pass that user ID. So $of user dot user ID. $of user dot user ID will be available. Getting my point? So here we are using /edit question mark ID is equal to question mark ID is equal to user ID. So that means whenever you click on edit icon, it should send a request to this method with the ID as a query parameter. Query parameter will start with the question mark. Now, because which record we are trying to edit, that record we need to retrieve and we need to display in the form. So this is edit question mark ID is equal to $of user dot user ID. So for every record, edit icon will have their user ID as a query parameter. Now go to our controller. Inside the controller, we should write a method public string edit user. For this, we are expecting user ID. We are expecting user ID as a parameter, and we are expecting model object also as a parameter. Okay, so it is going to return index page only. When the user edit is clicked, then I want to display the index page by populating user data. So let us map this method to get request by using get mapping /edit. Now integer ID, that ID is coming from the UI in the query parameter. So you can take this as a user ID or just ID, anything is fine. Now I'm representing that, hey Spring controller, you are going to get this value as a request param. Request param nothing but query param. Once we got this data, now let us call service dot get user account by using user ID. I'm getting user account data by using user ID. Now let us pass this data to the UI. Let us pass this data to the UI with this. Earlier, we sent empty user object when this method is executed. When this method is executed, we are sending one empty user object. That's why index page will load the form with empty fields. But now, when user click on edit icon, I want to load the form with a user data by pre-populate. So for that, we are using service dot get user account. So we are passing user ID as a parameter. With that user ID, it is retrieving the user record. Whatever the user record we are retrieving from the database, we are sending that user record to the UI. Then in the UI page, that user data will be populated in the index. Because in the index page, already the form fields are mapped to user object. So whenever you load the page for first time, empty user object will go, it will display form with empty fields. But whenever you click on edit icon, it will take the user ID as a query parameter and it will get that user record. It will send the user record to the UI using model scope. Then it will pre-populate the user data in the form. All right, let's test it. Is it working or not? Let me run the application and check it. Refresh. Run as boot application. Clear the console. Now, as our database is restarted, we will lose the old data. We need to create another record to test it. Date of birth, 1st September, mail. Click on submit. User record saved, view users. Okay, one record is inserted. Keep your cursor on the edit Can you see in the left side bottom corner? Can you see in the left side bottom corner? When I keep my cursor on the edit, is it displaying edit with ID is equal to 1? That means, are we able to append? Are we able to append user ID in the URL? Yes, we are able to append user ID in the URL. So whenever you click on the edit, it will go to controller method. What we have done in the controller, it is taking ID as a request parameter, that is query parameter. With that ID, it is retrieving the user record and it is sending that user record to the UI by using model attribute, and it is returning index page. What is there in the index page? Form fields available. That form data is already mapped to user object. Key is user. Right. Click on edit. Ashok IT record we are editing. When I click on edit, can you see that Ashok IT data is pre-populated? Can you see the data is pre-populated, guys? Yes, the data is pre-populated. Now, when I change the data and when I click on submit button, that record should be updated in the database. In order to update the record, already we have form with the save user. So it is going to update the record. Now, simply from Ashok IT, change to Ashok and click on submit. User record saved. Message coming in correctly. View users. Oh, when I update the record, is it updating the record? Is it inserting the record? Guys, whenever I click on submit, after edit, Ashok record is available, edit. I want to change the phone number. Click on edit, phone number, I'm changing. Click on submit. Go to view users. When I change the phone number, is it updating the existing record or it is inserting a new record? It is inserting the new record. Why? When I try to do the update, why it is inserting a new record? Why it is inserting a new record? Why it is inserting new record? Whenever you click on the edit, and click on the submit button, only user data is going in the form, but ID is not going. So for this method, only user account object is coming, but user ID is not coming. Whenever the user ID is not coming, it is thinking that this is also a new record, because for adding the new record, for updating the existing record, we are using the same page. For adding the new record, for updating the existing record, we are using same page. Are you able to follow me? For adding the new record, for updating the existing record, we are using same page and we are calling save method. So whenever user account object comes to this method, it will call our service layer method. So what is there in the service layer method? In the service layer method, we are calling save method with the account object. So what is this save method? This save method is called as upsert method. What is the meaning of upsert method? It is used for both inserting and updating. When this method will insert the record, when this method update the record, whenever you pass entity object to the save method, if primary key column variable having the data, then it will consider that as existing record and it will update. If the primary key column data is not available, then it is going to insert the record. So save method will perform insert operation and update operation, depends on the situation. So currently for the save method, we are passing entity object. That entity object does not have primary key column value. That entity object does not have primary key column value. So that is the reason when I am trying to do the update, it is inserting the record. When I'm trying to do the update, it is inserting the record. Then how to resolve this problem? Any idea, guys? Any idea how to resolve this problem? When I'm trying to edit the data and I'm trying to update the data, what is happening? Instead of updating the existing record, it is inserting the new record. The reason is when we are updating the record, user ID is not going. So first time when we are adding the user, that is fine. ID will not be available, so record will be inserted. When we are editing and updating the record, that record should be updated instead of inserting a new record. To resolve this problem, we need to send user ID as a hidden variable. We need to send user ID as a hidden variable. So whenever this form is loaded, we need to send user ID as a hidden variable. Okay, how we can send hidden variable? Simply input type is equal to hidden. Input type is equal to hidden. Now for this, I'm going to set th::field is equal to star of user ID. th::field is equal to star of user ID. So what is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of that? Whenever this form is submitted, user ID also will go. When you are submitting the form for first time, then user ID will be null. If the user ID is null, it is going to insert the record. If user ID is not null, then it is going to update the record. Just I'm adding one hidden variable. What is this hidden variable? To send ID to the server from the UI. To send the ID from the UI to the controller. When the ID is sent, it will be stored to the binding object. If ID contains data, save method will update the record. If ID does not contain the data, it will insert the record. Can we try this? Can we try this, guys? So you understand why I am adding the hidden variable in the form? Hidden variable is used to send the data from UI to controller. Based on this user ID, this save method will decide whether to insert the record or whether to update the record. Right, let's try this now. Refresh, stop the server, run it again, run as Spring Boot application. Console, good, clear. Application started, go here, view users, currently no records available, add user, add one user record, SSN number, date of birth, gender male, submit. Record saved. View users. Now the record is inserted. Now I want to update phone number. Okay, you see the phone number, some value. I want to change it to some other value. Click on edit. So the data is coming here. Remove the old phone number and add latest phone number. Click on submit. Now can you see the message coming as user record updated? Yes, go to view users. So the phone number is updated or not? Phone number got updated, but we lost the date of birth. So there is some bug. There is some bug. We'll see why the date of birth is not coming. Are we able to update the record, guys? Are we able to update the record? Yes. So for saving the record, for updating the record, we are using same method and same UI page. Same method and same UI page. View users. Edit is available. Whenever you click on edit, so it will take user ID as a query parameter. It will take user ID as a query parameter. Based on the user ID, it is going to retrieve the user record in the editable mode. There we can change the value and you can click on submit. Record updated, view users. Now you see that user record got updated. User record got updated. Now, I want to implement a delete. What is the meaning of delete? I want to delete the record permanently from the database. Okay. For delete also, we have one hyperlink. Same way, instead of edit, now we will write delete. This is used to delete the record permanently. For the delete method also, we are going to send user ID as a query parameter because we need to know which record we need to delete. We need to know which record we need to delete. So /delete question mark ID is equal to user ID. We are sending user ID as a query parameter to delete the record. So let us write one method. Public string. Let me stop the server. Public string delete user. So I'm expecting user ID, then modal object. Okay. Now, good. Return string. I want to delete the user. So for this, let us write /delete. So this method is also expecting request parameter, that is user ID. With that user ID, I want to delete the record. How? Service.delete user account by passing user ID as a parameter. Boolean delete user. Okay. So whether the record is deleted or not, it will return in the form of true and false value. Now you tell me, after the record is deleted, then what we need to do? Guys, after record is deleted, what we need to do? After record deletion, then what we need to do? After record deletion, what we need to do? View page. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is, after deleting the record, I need to load the table with the latest data. Whenever you click on the delete button, the record should be deleted and the table should be refreshed. The record should be deleted, table should be refreshed. Okay. So for this, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to write redirect : users. Redirect : users. So what is the meaning of this? Once user click on the delete functionality, the record should be deleted and it should redirect the request to this method. So why the request is redirecting to this method? This method will get all the latest data and will display in the users page. So once my record is deleted, I'm redirecting the request to users page. Are you clear with my point? Earlier, in all the methods, I have written view page name directly. But for this method, am I returning the view page name? Am I redirecting my request? Am I returning the view page name or I am redirecting my request? I'm redirecting my request. Why I am redirecting my request? After the record is deleted, it has to load the latest data in the table. Deleted record should not display in the table. So that's why. So once my method execution completed for a delete, then I'm redirecting my request to users method. So what will happen when I redirect to users method? It will load all the latest users data and will display in the table. Okay. Are you guys clear with my point? Why we are going for request redirection? After deletion got completed, I want to load the latest data in the table. After request got completed, I want to load the latest data in the table. Okay, very good. Now let us try run this application again. run as boot application, clear that console, view users, no records available, add user, let us add one record, date of birth, gender, submit. User record saved. View users, one record is available. Let me add another user, John gmail.com, phone number, SSN number, date of birth, gender. Click on submit. User record saved. View users. Now can you see that there are two records available in our application? There are two records available in our application. Now when I go for a delete, what will happen? You observe. When I keep my cursor on the delete, oh, see that there is a problem. What is the problem? href is working as expected. href is not working as expected. href is working as expected, or href is not working as expected. Guys, you see left side bottom corner, URL prepared successfully or URL not prepared successfully. URL is not prepared successfully. URL not prepared successfully. Are you guys able to follow me? The URL not prepared successfully. Why? There is a mistake in our code. What is that mistake? In the page, I have given just href. If I give just href, that dynamic data we cannot supply. We need to make it as a th:/href, time-leaf href. Then we can pass query parameters dynamically. Okay, good. I have changed it. View users, add user, view users now. Can you see now? When I make the change to the button, is that URL reflecting properly now? Is that URL reflecting properly now? Left side corner bottom. Left side corner bottom. Yes, now click on the delete. Wow. When I click on the delete, can you see that record is removed from here? When I click on the delete, can you see the record is removed from here? Yes. Go to add user. Let me add another user, ram@gmail.com, phone number, SSN number, date of birth, gender, sub. Record is added. View users, add user. Then I'm going for some Anil@gmail.com, phone number, SSN number, date of birth, gender. Click on submit. User record saved. Go to view users. Two records available. Now you observe, I'm going to delete Anil record. Click on delete. When I click on the delete, is that record removed from the system? Is that record removed from the system? Yes or no, guys? Is that record removed from the system? Yes. That record is permanently deleted. That record is permanently deleted. Now you can compare that in the database also. You can go to the database. Is it soft delete or hard delete? Okay. So it will be hard delete. Let me connect with the database and verify. Go to the table name, run the table. Okay. How many records are available now? Only one record is available in the table. So if I delete that record from here in the application, then that will be deleted from the database also. Run that query. Now table is empty. Permanently we are deleting the record from the database. This is called hard delete functionality. So for the delete hyperlink, I have given one action, href, th:/href is equal to /delete ? ID is equal to $of user.user ID. So we are sending that user ID. We are sending user ID as a query parameter. You can send it as a path parameter also. I'm using query parameter now. That query parameter I'm capturing using request param. Using request param, I'm capturing that. With that ID, I'm deleting the record. Then after, I am redirecting my request. Why I am redirecting my request? After the record is deleted, I want to load the table with the latest data. After the record is deleted, I want to load the table with the latest data. Similarly, can we implement activate and deactivate buttons? Similarly, can we implement activate and deactivate? Come on, guys. Can we implement activate and deactivate? Soft delete. All right. So currently we are having deactivate and activate. So what is the meaning of deactivate and activate, guys? What is the meaning of deactivate and activate? What is the functionality of these two buttons in the system? If the record is, when the record is newly inserted, that record will be in the active status. When the record is in the active status, for this deactivate option will come. You can deactivate that account. If the record is already deactivated, for that record, activate status will come. Opposite status will be displayed. If the record, whenever you insert a new record, whenever you create a new user account, by default, it will be in the active status. For active status records, it will display deactivate button. For deactivate records, it will display activate button. Based on the present status of the record, opposite button will be displayed. That is the functionality. If the record is active, then we can deactivate. If the record is already deactivated, we can activate that record. Are you getting my point? Are you guys getting my point? Are you guys getting my point? Can we implement that now? Yes. First, let me implement in the controller. I will write one method called status change. Okay. So let me write public string status update. For this, I need integer user ID and I need string status. For which user, what is the status? After this activate or deactivate also, I want to redirect the request to /users so that latest records will be displayed. Here also I'm using same process, return redirect :/users. This method I am mapping to a get request @get mapping /status. Status change or whatever you can say, update also, anything is fine. You can say update also. This method is expecting two parameters. One is user ID, another one is status. So both we are going to get as the request parameters only. @request param of ID, first parameter, @request param of status. Okay. For this method, there are two request param annotations are available. One is user ID, another one is status. So for which user, which status you want to update. Now already we have a service method to do that. Service dot update account status based on the given ID and based on the given status. That's it. So for which user you are trying to activate or deactivate. So that option you need to send. What is the user ID? What status you want to update? Look at this method. This method is mapped to /update URL pattern. And this method is expecting two query parameters. This method is expecting two query parameters. Here model is also not required. Just we are taking user ID. With that user ID, we are deleting that record. After the record is deleted, we are redirecting the request to redirect :/users. All right, redirect :/users. Once the record is deleted, we are redirecting that request to view users method. Similarly, once we do status update, we are redirecting the request to /users. Are you guys clear why I am doing redirection? Are you guys clear why I am doing request redirection? Why I am going for request redirection? Are you guys able to understand that? Good. Here I'm taking update. I'm not taking modal parameter. Why? Because after the record is deleted, I'm not sending any data from this method directly. Once my record is deleted, I'm redirecting to users. Users means this method is available. This method will get all the user records from the database. This method will send the data to the UI by using modal. So these last two methods, they will directly do the operation and they will redirect the request to the users method. Users method will send the data to the UI page by using modal. That's why in this delete method, in this update method, I'm not taking modal object as a parameter. Why I am not taking modal object as a parameter? After the delete is completed, is this method sending any response to UI? No. After the delete is completed, this method is simply redirecting the request to the users method. Users method is responsible to retrieve the users data, send that users data to the UI as a collection. Same thing. This status update method is available for which user, which status you want to update. Because for some users, I can click on activate. For some users, I can click on deactivate. So what status you want to update, for which user you want to update, those are two things I'm taking as a request parameters, and I will update the status. If the record is active, it will be inactivated. If the record is already inactivated, it will be activated. After doing the updation of the status, account switch status updated, this method not sending any response to the UI directly. This method will simply redirect the request to this method. That's why I'm not taking modal object as a parameter. Are you clear? Why I am not taking modal object as a parameter? These methods are not sending any direct response to the UI. After the operation is completed, these methods are redirecting the request to another method. After the operation is completed, these methods are redirecting the request to another method. That method will take care of sending the response to the UI by using modal object. That method will take care of sending the response to the UI using modal object. Come on. Is this clear for everyone? Is this clear for everyone? The last two methods I have implemented. One is for hard deleting. Another one is for activate and deactivate. Now go to UI. Now go to UI. Deactivate is there. Activate is there. href. Now I need to call this method, update method. Update. So update the status. Update the status. Update ID is equal to $of user.user ID. Okay. If I send only ID, is that sufficient? No. Along with the ID, what we need to send. Along with the ID, we need to send and at the rate. After this ID, we need to send status is equal to n. Status is equal to n. What is the meaning of status is equal to n? What is the meaning of status is equal to n? For this user ID, you update the status as inactivate. For this user ID, you update the status as inactivate. ID and status is equal to n. So whenever that button is clicked, it will take ID and it will take the status and it will update that status. You understand why I am passing two query parameters? Guys, you understand why I am passing two query parameters? Right. So same thing here also. th:/href update user ID status is equal to y. So whenever you click on activate button, status will go as y. So that record will be activated. Whenever you click on deactivate, status will go as n. That record will be deactivated. Are you clear? Are you guys clear? Just look at this URL pattern once. Observe. Are you guys able to understand how we are constructing the URL pattern? Are we able to understand how we are constructing the URL pattern to update the status of the record? So whenever you add the record, that will be added with active switch is equal to y. If the record active switch is equal to y, it will display deactivate button. So when user click on the deactivate button, the status should be updated to n. If the current record status is already deactivated, then it will display activate button. For the activate button, status switch will be displayed as y. Opposite operation. Good. Now let us run and try this. Is it working? Refresh. Run as boot application. Clear the console. Now view users, no records, add user. Simply I'm adding one record to test that behavior. Gender, submit. User record saved. Go to view users. Now, what is the button it is coming? Can you see? URL pattern constructed successfully. URL pattern not constructed successfully. Guys, URL pattern constructed successfully. URL pattern not constructed successfully. URL pattern not constructed successfully. User ID not populated. ID is equal to user.user ID not populated. Right? Now, let us check this. Here, and symbol not required. This is the mistake, I think so. Now view users again. Now deactivate, update ID is equal to $of user.user ID and status is equal to n. Status is equal to n is populated, but user ID not populated. Status is populated, but ID is not populated. Any mistake? Let me try. Refresh. Oh, it failed. For edit, it is coming. For delete, it is coming. But for deactivate, it is not coming. User.user ID and status. Status is coming as expected, but user ID is not coming. No. $of user.user ID, comma, status is equal to n. Let me try this. No. ID is equal to $of user.user ID, comma, status is equal to n. It is not working. Update question mark ID is equal to $.user.user ID. Let's try this. Fine. Now it is working perfectly, guys. So when I keep the cursor on the edit, it is displaying ID as a query parameter to edit that particular record. When I keep cursor on the delete, it is keeping that query parameter. When I keep cursor on the deactivate, you can see update ID is equal to 1, status is equal to N. So when I click on deactivate, that record will be deactivated. So if it is displaying deactivate button, what is the meaning of that? That record is already active. That record is already active. That's why it is displaying deactivate option. It is displaying deactivate option. Go for add user. Let us add another user called Kathy. So Kathy@gmail.com. Phone number, SSN, date of birth, gender female. Click on submit. Record saved. View users. For both records, what is the current status? For both records, the current status is active. Whenever the record is newly inserted, the record will be inserted with the active status. The record will be newly inserted, so it will go with the active status. Okay. Now, I want to deactivate the record. Before doing that, let us verify our database data. Localhost colon 8080/h2 console. Now, go here, username and password, connect, go to the table, run this. Now, can you see the two records are inserted in the table? What is the current switch? What is the current status of the record, guys? They are in the active status or they are in the inactive status? The two records are in the active status or the two records are in the inactive status? The two records are in the active status or the two records are in the inactive status? Those two records are in the active status. As the records are in the active status, it is displaying deactivate button. Okay. As the records are already active, it is displaying deactivate button. Now, if I click on deactivate for the second record, okay, now the button got changed. The button got changed or not? Now, if I click on activate, it will become deactivate. If it is a click on deactivate. Now, that record will be deactivated. Check the status in the database. Run this. Run this query. Now, so the record is updated to inactive status or not? The record is updated to inactive status. Okay. So in the database, if you see active switch is equal to N, active switch is equal to N for this record. That's why it is displaying activate button. When I click on activate, then it's coming as opposite status. You can check in the database. The record status is updated. Run this. So active switch Y, active switch Y. Both records are active. Now I want to deactivate the Kathy record. As these records are already active status, deactivate option coming. When I click on deactivate, then that switch becoming activate. Because that record is deactivated, opposite switch is displaying. So one record is deactivated. Kathy record is deactivated. That's why for Kathy, activate option coming. If I click on activate, then status will be updated in the database and the status is updated to active. As both records are active, it is displaying deactivate button. You understand how this activate deactivate is working? Are you guys able to understand how the activate and deactivate button is working? Come on. Now tell me, how many of you able to complete this logic? Edit, delete, and update. 3 functionalities. Total 2 functionalities available. Adding the user, displaying the users, edit, delete, and activate, deactivate. So how many of you able to complete this requirement on your own? Now you can understand your skill set. Whether you are able to develop a simple application to perform CRUD operations. Whether you are able to develop a simple application to perform CRUD operations or not. It is not a complex application. It is very basic application which is having logic to insert, update, retrieve, and delete the record. That's it. Insertion, updation, selection, deletion, CRUD operations. Who are not able to complete this requirement on your own, can you type a message in the chat box? I was not able to complete. Come on, guys. Who are not able to develop this project on your own before my explanation, you please respond in the chat box. Who are not able to complete, please send a message in the chat box. No issue. Nobody will read your messages. Only I will see your message. No one will read your message. Come on, fast guys. Who are not able to complete? Come on, fast. So now you understand whatever the course that you have learned. With that course, are you able to develop the project? You learned Java, core Java. If I ask a question, what is inheritance? What is polymorphism? What is class? What is method? What is object? Everybody will tell that my Java course is completed. My core Java training is completed. You know what is class. You know what is method. You know what is variable. But you don't know what methods we need to write for the given requirement. What classes we need to develop for the given requirement. What parameters we need to take for the methods. What return types we need to take for the methods, that you don't know. You know what is class, what is method, what is variable. But for the given task, how many classes we need to create, how many methods we need to create, what parameters we need to take for the method, what return types we need to take for the method, that you don't know. You are not able to develop a simple CRUD operation application on your own. You are not able to develop a simple CRUD operation application on your own. That means you need to do good practice. You need to improve your analysis skills and you need to improve your coding skills. Because today I have explained line by line. I have written all the lines of code in front of you in the live class and my project is complete. Tomorrow, will anybody do that for you in the company? If you get a new requirement in the company, will anybody do that requirement for you? Will anybody do that requirement for you? In the company, do you think that your team lead or your manager will write the code for you? How I am doing in the class, your manager, team lead will do the coding for you? Nobody will do that. They will simply give one task for you. Based on that task, you need to start analysis. You need to start the coding. You need to test it. You need to integrate the code and you need to deploy that. Everything you need to do. Nobody will help you. You need to do the things on your own. You need to become independent programmer. So to become a good programmer, some people are asking, sir, to become a good programmer, please tell some tips. With my tips, if you can become a good programmer, then what is the use of spending 3 to 4 months for the course? Daily, I can give some tips for 1 week so that I can make you programmers. No? There is no tip to become a good programmer. The only thing is hard work and practice. Overnight, you cannot become a good programmer. Overnight, your analysis skills cannot be improved. Overnight, your coding skills cannot improve. It is daily process. Sir, how you became a good programmer? As I told you, I spent 10 years in the companies. I worked for different projects, different screens, different requirements. Whatever the code I have done in my project yesterday in the company, today it is not same. Today requirement is different. Today task is different. Tomorrow task will be different. Every day new task. Every day new screen. Every day new analysis. Every day new classes, new methods, new logics. After working for 5 years in the companies, then I got the clarity on the analysis part and designing part and perfect coding. You guys are completing the courses, Core Java, Advanced Java, Spring Boot, microservices. With that course, you are not able to develop the project. The reason, as I told you, two approaches. Faculty will do everything in the class. Faculty will share the code with the people. Students will learn theoretically. They will execute the code given by the faculty. Then how you will get that maturity? So that's where you need to start doing your analysis. You need to start writing the code on your own. First time, you may fail. Second time, you may fail. Third time, you will become master in that. It's a daily process, guys. It's not one day effort, or it's not 3 months course. Coding, something that you can't learn in 1 month or 2 months. It is daily learning process. If you work on different screens, different requirements with the same approach we are following, first student should analyze. First student should try to implement. Then faculty will explain. Then student will compare his work with faculty work. Then student will realize where he has done that mistake. Next time, he should not do that mistake. So that is how you need to improve your coding skills. Okay, so guys, you understand what is your weak point as a programmer now? With first mini project itself. It is very dummy LKG requirement, guys. CRUD operations in the Spring Boot with the time leaf, with the bootstrap. So do you realize where is your weak point as a programmer? You got some maturity now, how to think and how to analyze. But with this one project, you will not become a good programmer. So you need to develop a couple of projects like this on your own. You need to do the analysis. You need to do the coding on your own before faculty is going to do. That's where your skills will improve. Your confidence levels will improve. You can crack the interviews. Are you guys able to follow me? Several people asked me this question, sir, in the real-time project, why are you taking mini project for CAD operations? We have already learnt this in the servlets only. When we done advanced Java course only, we learnt CAD operations. But today in the class, 100+ people not able to perform mini project development on their own. Out of these 126 people in the class, 100 people are not able to complete the mini project on their own. That means they just completed the course. They just completed the course. They are not confident enough to write the code on their own. Okay. Guys, is there any benefit with this mini project that you guys got? Is there any benefit that you guys got with this mini project? Any learning? Anything you learned from this? Anything you learned from this? Okay. Yeah. If you feel that you learned something, that is good. So whatever you learned here, you need to implement that in the second project, second mini project that is completely different. Second mini project is completely different. If you butify the code of the first mini project, you cannot implement second project. Second project requirements are completely different. Step 6, create controller class with required methods. Okay. Then step 7, create view pages with UI logic, user interface logic. So with this, I have created my project. I configured the data source. I tested database is up and running. And I have created entity classes, entity class and repository interface. I created service interface and its IMPL class. I created a controller class with required methods. So in the controller, we have several methods. The purpose of each method is different. This method is used to load the form with empty fields data. This method is used to save that particular user from the form. This method is used for saving as well as for updating as well. This method is used to retrieve the user's record. And this method is used to edit that particular user based on the user ID. This method is used to perform hard delete. That means that record will be deleted permanently from the database table. This method is used for soft delete. It is used to activate and deactivate our records. This method is used to activate and deactivate our records. Now, so what is the execution flow of this application? What is the execution flow of this application? As we discussed, this application is developed using layered architecture. So now our presentation logic is available in the time leaf. So whenever we send the request to this application, it is going to load a HTML page called index.html, run as boot application. I'm running this application, and when I access this URL, the request will go to our controller class user controller /. Whenever I send a request to this localhost /8080, the request is going to this controller method. This is a controller method returning index page with the user binding object, that form data displayed. When you click on the submit button with the form data, it will send you a post request to this method. It will take the form data and it will save that user, will send you a message to the UI, will return the index page. And /users method is available. Whenever you click on this hyperlink, that view users method will be called. It will retrieve all the user records and it will return view users. So all the user accounts data we are getting from the database and we are sending to the UI by using modal.addAttribute. Okay. So in the view users page, if you observe, we are using bootstrap and time leaf. We are displaying the records in the table format. And for every record, we are displaying edit, delete, activate and deactivate. Edit, delete will display for every record, whereas activate, deactivate buttons will display based on current status of the user record. And whenever you click on the edit icon, that particular user ID we are taking as a request parameter, and we are retrieving the user record and we are returning that in the index page. That means in the index page, user record will be displayed for edit. Then delete is available. Whenever you click on the delete icon, I will take that user ID in the request param and I will delete that user record permanently from the database. User record will be deleted permanently from the database. And when you go for update, status update, it is a little tricky, guys. By default, when the record is created, status will be Y. That means it is an active record. If the status is active, it will display opposite button. For active records, deactivate button will display. If the record is already deactivated, for that activate button will be displayed. So whenever you click on activate button, for that particular record, status will be updated as Y. If you click on deactivate button, for that record, status will be updated as N. Active, inactive, status will be available. Activate and deactivate, the status will be available. Are you guys clear? Now, anybody needs this code or you will try on your own? Anybody want this code or you want to develop on your own? If you want this, I will share it. I don't have any problem. But the thing is, you will not get the chance to think about it. Okay. Now, and the pending part here in this application, date of birth is not coming properly. When we update the record, there is one issue. There is issue in this application. So whenever record is inserted, go to view users. Initially, the date of birth is coming. When I click on edit, date of birth is not pre-populating. See here, view users, DOB is available for this record. When I click on edit, is the date of birth coming? Is the date of birth coming or date of birth not coming? Come on guys. Date of birth coming or not coming? User record updated. Date of birth is available as 9/1. Click on edit. Okay. The date of birth is not coming. There is an issue. There is a issue. Okay. And one more thing is, whenever the record is activated, is it displaying any message saying that record is activated? No. When I deactivate the record, is it displaying any message? When I deactivate or activate, that success message is not coming. When I click on the delete also, it is not showing any success message saying that record is deleted. And when the table does not have any data, it is not displaying any message, no records found. When the table does not have any records, it should display one message, no records found. So some pending items are there. Why date of birth is not coming? That is one issue we need to check. And success messages are not displaying when we activate, deactivate, and delete. And when our table is empty, it is not displaying a message, no records found. Come on, guys. No records found message is not coming, and double posting problem is also available in the application. Double posting problem is also available in the application. Click on submit, user record saved. View users. When I click on submit, form validations also not available. You see, one dummy record is saved. Go to add user, click on submit. Without entering the data also, I'm able to click on the submit. One empty record is submitted. So there are several pending items available. Several pending items are available. So let me note down the pending items. First one is double posting problem. Okay. Second one, DOB not populating in edit functionality. Success messages are not displaying. Success messages are not displaying. Form validations are not available. Form validations not available. So these are 4 things that we need to fix. Double posting problem is not resolved. Date of birth not populated in edit functionality. Success messages are not displaying in view users page. When you delete or when we activate or when we deactivate, those success messages are not coming. Form validations are not available. Form validations are not available. Come on, guys. Pending work. Pending work in the 0-1 mini project. So can you guys try these things? Tomorrow I will work on these things in the class. So tomorrow I'm going to complete these pending functionalities. So before I'm going to do this, can you guys give me a try? Can you guys give me a try? So tomorrow, our first mini project will be completed. So I will complete these functionalities. Then I will give you the requirement for second mini project. So tomorrow I'm going to complete these things. Basic functionality got completed, add user, view user. But see here, when I click on the delete, the messages are not coming. When I activate or deactivate also, the messages are not coming. And add user, without entering any data, if I click on submit, validations are not coming. Okay, so these all are pending items. Form validations not available. Form validations not there, not implemented. Double posting problem, we have to resolve. DB not populated in the date of birth, not populated in the edit functionality. Success messages are not displayed. 4 things are pending. 4 things are pending. Are you guys clear? So I want everyone to complete this first mini project by today. Whatever the code I have implemented and whatever the pending things are available, I want you to give it a try. Tomorrow I will explain them. And I'm repeating once again, before listening to my explanation, I want everyone to try on their own so that you will realize what is your subject skill set, what is your confidence level, whether you are good for attending the interviews or not, that you will understand. If you are able to develop these things, then you will get more confidence to attend the interview. If you are not able to develop, then you need to observe where you are not able to do it. When I am doing that, you need to think, okay, in this scenario, we have to think like this. So you need to improve that maturity. You need to improve that skill set. That's why everything before I'm going to do, I'm giving the chance for you. You try that. If you success in that implementation, 100% you will get confidence. If you fail, you will learn from that. That's it. But you need to give the time for your practice. Then only your coding skills, analysis skills will be improved to get the job in the software companies. So this is the task for today. Pending works to complete in the 01 mini project. Form validations, double posting problem, date of birth not populated, success messages are not displayed. The basic code is completed, CRUD operations are done. We are able to insert the record, we are able to retrieve the record, we are able to activate the records, and we are able to deactivate the record. We are able to edit the record, okay? And we are able to update the record as well. The basic small minor issues are available. We need to fix them so that our first mini project will be completed and we will start with the second mini project. Second mini project functionality will be a little complex and more number of screens will be available, and you need to do the analysis and you need to try coding part as well. Third mini project, I will give the assignment that I'm not going to implement in the class. As I told you in the initial classes, 2 mini projects I will implement in the class. 1 mini project you have to implement on your own. I will give the requirement for that. Agree? All right. Anybody having any questions? You can ask me now.
Hello, sir.
Hi,
Yeah,
sir.
hi.
The second
Hello.
minute is
Sir, in
on
controller class,
which year ref?
Yep, in the controller class.
please open. Yeah, there is edit user method, right? So
Correct.
you are using here get mapping. So can we use here put mapping also?
Sir, edit user, we need to use get only. Here you can use delete mapping. Here you can use put mapping. So I will explain those HTTP methods, guys. Currently, I'm using only get and post. We can use put and delete. But here it is not recommended to use put mapping because this method is only to retrieve the record. Here actually the updating is happening. Here delete is happening. Here you can use put mapping. Here you can use delete mapping.
Sir, but we are using anchor element. Does it support delete mapping and put mapping?
Anchor will not support. When you have the buttons, then only we can go for that. Anchor element will support only get mapping. That's why I'm writing @get mapping annotation here.
Okay, sir.
Ashok sir, tomorrow, if you have time, or today or tomorrow also possible, that whole flow, sir, from UI to controller to service, service to database layer with one query or with one example in a high level you can give, then it will be very clear picture,
That is
sir.
what, Akshay, whatever the question you are asking, the answer for your question is this diagram only, man.
Yeah, diagram. We have developed the project, right, sir? That the project how the flow goes
This is,
people.
I don't understand. This is the flow. From the UI, request will go to controller, controller to service, service to repository, repository to database. What else I need to explain in the flow?
Okay, I was saying through coding level, through backend level, sir.
I mean, even if I go for the backend also, I will say that this is the UI page. From the UI, it will go to this controller. From this controller, it will go to, that is what I need to explain. Same, that is the reason a clear diagram I'm showing you. So this is how the flow will happen.
I think he wants in debug mode, sir.
Okay, debug mode, that we can do it. I will do it tomorrow. Once all the issues are fixed, then I will show with the debugging.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, sir. So that not for I can understand, sir. As a developer, I know, but for the whole team from perspective, I'm saying it will be a clear picture how the values are goes. So that's the reason I said.
By looking at the diagram, you should get the picture how the flow is happening.
Hello,
Yeah,
sir.
sir. Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with
hi.
you.
Sir,
In
will
this
you
mini
implement
project, what about exceptional handling and logging mechanism, sir?
We will discuss that, sir. Exception handling and logging mechanism, I'm going to discuss in the second project.
Okay.
Unit testing,
Sir,
exception handling, logging, we'll discuss.
sir, in
Sir,
H2 database, why that table
sir,
not come in a proper order? Is ID is in the last, name is in the
Column order,
last.
sir. So, I mean, whenever we are creating the entity class, right, based on our variable naming convention, maybe it is taking that order. Column order is not fixed there. Okay.
Okay.
sir,
sir?
what is the proper sequence for front-end development? Like HTML, after CSS, after JavaScript, after should I learn Bootstrap or direct I can go for Angular or React.js?
Sir, you guys can learn. You guys
Hello?
can learn basic HTML.
Yeah,
And one more
after
thing, guys, the people who are not good with the UI functionalities, UI related stuff. Yesterday, we have started one free batch for the UI. It is a recorded session. Every day at 8:30 p.m., a UI class video will be uploaded. In that, you will learn the complete HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap. Every day at 8:30 p.m., this video will be uploaded. The people who are not good in the UI development, those people can attend the class in the YouTube daily at 8:30 p.m. Every day one video will be uploaded.
sir, after JavaScript, should I go for Bootstrap or directly I can go for like Angular or
So
React.js?
Bootstrap, it is just 2 hours content. If
2
you
or
spend 2
okay,
to 3 hours, you can learn the Bootstrap. Okay. So the people
okay.
who don't know the UI technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, they can learn for free of cost daily at 8:30 p.m. The video will be uploaded to YouTube channel. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
in the method of edit and update, you are using @request param in the controller.
Correct.
So the data which is coming from UI to controller, the
Yes.
parameter name should be same, sir, as
Yes,
you
sir.
quoted.
Whatever the key you are using in the UI, that key name you need to keep here. Then only it can capture the value for that particular key. Okay.
And in the delete, you have selected different things, sir, ID, UID.
Anything is no ID only I kept there.
With the respect of integers, sir.
That will be taken care by Spring Boot typecasting process. No?
So
So
mean
if
to
you see here, I'm passing key as a ID only in all the 4 places. So that is the reason in the controller I am using request param ID only. Key I am using to get that value.
Hello,
Hello,
sir. Sir, when
Yeah.
is your next DevOps with AWS batch? I think the next one is on Raghu sir is taking. What about yours?
My batch will start after 20 days, sir. By this month end, it will come.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
So when I update the code, I put the code in GitHub. That time I changed my MD like whatever I do, I write the as a text file. What I do for that?
I did not get your question.
Suppose I change the something in my code, but
Okay.
I want to put the details of that code. What I changed in my code as a text file. Then what I do? You know, redeem GitHub redeem file.
Redeem or reward?
No, redeem file, sir.
I
There
don't know
is
that.
documentation for code documentation file.
README files.
Readme file. Sorry.
Readme files. Okay, you can write in the readme file. Yes, readme file will give you in documentation what you have done.
Yes, sir. So how do that?
I will tell you. So just you need to create a file with .md extension. That's it. Readme.md. You commit that file also.
For every version, we can change that.
You can change the content in that file. You can add it. I have modified this. I have modified this like that. You can add in the readme.md file.
Suppose version V1 and version V2. Version V1 and for different readme file or version V2.
No, sir.
Different?
For project only one readme file will be available. For every person, not a separate readme file. For project only one readme.md file will be available.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, sir. I'm Bhima.
Yeah, hi, Bhima.
Sir, I had whenever I add a form data stored in null, sir, in database. What can should, sir?
Form validations we need to do.
Form validation.
That is what I told you. Na, that is a pending item.
Sir. Data is stored in null value. Means not store the values that it comes null.
You check that whenever you submit the form data, it is going to the post request method. In this post request method, your object is getting with the data or not. Form data is not binding to the object. If the form data is binded to the object, it will be stored in the database. Otherwise, it will store null value. Your form binding is not happening. You need to check that.
Sir, I want to ask one thing. Instead of query param, we can use path variable. Or
yes, sir. You can use it. You can use it. In this example, I have used query parameter. Instead of query parameter, you can go for path parameter also. No problem.
Sir, I got yesterday in one interview. What is the difference between query param and path variable? Asking, but I'm not able to tell about the interview.
Okay, I will explain that. Don't worry.
Just I'm read query param used to key and value pair and path variable to directly inside the in the web. I said that one. They are not showing your technology technical is weak. I'm saying.
Okay. And one more thing. From today, we have started microservices topics, REST API, microservices, and security. Anybody who don't know those microservices, those people need to attend morning 7 o'clock batch. It is a paid batch. 5,000 fees for the microservices. REST API, microservices, security, we are going to discuss in the 7 o'clock batch. The people who are not good in the REST API microservices development, they need to attend that class also. And the people who don't know the UI, daily 8:30 p.m. a free batch videos will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. You can attend that class for free of cost. All right.
I want to ask one thing. If our application develop the Angular with Spring Boot with Angular, microservice mini project is enough for that knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Suppose Slate dependency, Slate server, admin server, Zipkin server,
yes.
like Heroka service, and is enough.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Good, guys. Thank you. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet in the tomorrow's class. Before coming to tomorrow's class, please work on the pending items and try to complete the first mini project before coming to tomorrow's session. Okay, good. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in tomorrow's class.